Supreme Court today had to step in and say that mob and vigilance cannot take over the streets, and it certainly cannot decide the future of any movie. How do you really read this?
The Supreme Court's judgment is law of the land, binding on everybody, and therefore the guideline, the direction of the Supreme Court has to be followed by everybody, irrespective of the political leaning. Supreme Court judgment has a bearing on everybody, and therefore it has to be followed in letter and spirit. There are no two things about not following a Supreme Court judgment. It has to be followed, and I'm sure the appropriate authorities will take cognizance of the Supreme Court directions, and action will be taken accordingly. There cannot be controversy once Supreme Court has decided. Supreme Court has now directed the movie to be released, and law will take its own course. But insofar as the comments by Kamal Haasan are concerned, and his insults to Kannada pride by saying Kannada is born out of Tamil, those proceedings will go on separately against Kamal Haasan wherever people have filed petitions, and Kamal Haasan will have to answer that. The relief to Kamal Haasan is only limited to the movie being released in Karnataka, but not for the comments made by Kamal Haasan. Supreme Court has not endorsed the comments made by Kamal Haasan about Kannada being born out of Tamil. You have to note that point very carefully.
All right, let me also ask you this, Mr. Prashant. Why did it really require a Supreme Court intervention to protect the release of a film?
Neha, if you look at how the judicial system works, and once the producers decided suo motu that the exhibitors that they will not want to screen a particular movie based on the comments made by Kamal Haasan. Kamal Haasan approached the High Court and he did not get relief in High Court. Therefore, he went to the Supreme Court. So by following a judicial process, you cannot really say, was it right or wrong? So now that Supreme Court has directed the movie to be released, if people really want to watch that movie, people will be free to watch it now. Nobody can stop that. But that does not take away the fact that Kamal Haasan has insulted the pride of Kannadigas by saying that Kannada is born out of Tamil, and for that particular comment, he is still answerable to the courts wherever the matters are pending.
Right, but Mr. Prashant, isn't it concerning that incidents like these could perhaps damage the state's image as a destination for investment and creative freedom?
The creative freedom does not allow you to do whatever you want and say it's creative freedom. You need to be within the framework of law, and you cannot misinterpret history and historical facts to your whims and fancies just to promote your movie. You can't be doing it. If he was speaking the truth, he should have produced the evidence. Then the matter would have ended. He could have produced the evidence before the High Court, saying, look, this is the reason, or this is the basis on which I made this statement, and I stand by it. No. In fact, he's adopted a stand saying, I will not apologize. When he neither gives documents or evidence as proof of his statement as to how he came to the conclusion, nor did he oblige. Now that the Supreme Court has directed that the movie has to be released, the directions will be followed.
Right, but sir, the question here also is that today it's Thug Life, tomorrow it could be any other film, book, or for that matter even an art form. Where do you really draw the line between freedom of expression and, let's say, street level censorship?
See, at the threshold, we have to ensure that the mob cannot dictate what goes on. But at the same time, as a responsible actor who's probably been in the movie industry for about more than 4 decades, he should have been sensible to what he's saying. You can't make an irresponsible statement and expect people to be supporting you for everything. So with power comes responsibility, and once you are a public personality, you need to be very careful in what you speak. You have to be very careful, and it does not matter whether it's Kamal Haasan or anybody else. He ought to have been careful when he made that speech.
Mr. Satyaprakash, there you heard it. The Supreme Court has said that we cannot really allow mob and vigilance to take over the streets. Your first reaction on this?
Hi, Neha. We need to understand what the High Court Justice told Mr. Kamal Haasan. The Justice of the High Court said very clearly this is a trivial issue. Your statement that Kannada has been born out of Tamil language is far from truth. It is a historical lie. And you are no linguistic expert. And your statement like this has hurt the sentiments of crores of people, isn't it? Crores of people, Kannadigas, have been hurt by this statement. All that Am I audible? All that the High Court asked was, hello?
Sir, I'm here.
Am
I'm
I
listening to
audible?
you. Yes,
Yeah.
you are audible,
All
sir.
that the High Court said is, you please apologize. People of Karnataka, neither the High Court didn't say that, you don't screen your film. You screen your film, but you have heard the sentiments of crores of Kannadigas. Please issue a clarification and issue an apology and
Mr.
release the
Prakash,
movie.
Mr. Prakash, I'm sorry to interrupt, but here it's also important to note that the Supreme Court has also come down heavily on the Karnataka High Court and said that there is something wrong with the system, that one person makes a statement and everyone gets involved. Asking that why should High Court say that you express apology? It's not the role of High Court to call for apology. That's what the Supreme Court has observed.
No, I will tell you. Article 19, what does Article 19 say? Freedom of speech under reasonable restriction. Your freedom of speech should not lead another state to boil in, with problems, with law and order situation. You tell me, tomorrow the state government will allow the film to be screened. But if there is trouble, law and order situation, who is going to be responsible for it? If people reject this film, if people don't go to the theaters, what will you do? Will the courts of this country force people to go and see the movie? You should understand, this is a small thing. An apology would have finished.
Sir, let me ask you this. If a film cleared by the censor board is still blocked by street level threats, what message are we really sending to artists and creators?
Censor board clearance is for what is in the film. But this problem is out of the film. Mr. Kamal Haasan made this statement which was unnecessary, which was not required for the film. Why did he say that Kannada is born out of Tamil language? Is he a historian or is he a linguistic expert? How can we allow, however big a person is, how can we allow a person to create a law and order situation in another country, in another state, See, in any state, when it comes to land, when it comes to water, when it comes to language, people are very sentimental, Neha. We need to understand.
Right.
A big actor like Kamal should have some common sense to finish this off. And this matter should not go to Supreme Court at all. One sorry would have cleared this episode once for all. And Kamal Haasan should have behaved like a gentleman. People of Karnataka would have praised him. Chalo, it was a slip of tongue. He has corrected himself.
Mr. Satyaprakash, Kamal Haasan issued a clarification. Yes, you are absolutely right. He did not per se apologize, even though the Karnataka High Court repeatedly asked him to apologize, making it clear that it wouldn't take much to say the words, "I'm sorry." He repeatedly issued a clarification, but never really an apology. But sir, here, what the Supreme Court is asking, sir, with all due respect, the Supreme Court here is saying that how is this not a dangerous precedent where mobs really get to override legal clearances and censor art outside the system?
See, now since the Honorable Supreme Court, I'm sure it has not given the order still. It has reserved its orders for tomorrow. Let us see what orders Supreme Court gives. This is just an observation as per my knowledge goes. We as a law-abiding citizens and law-abiding government, the Congress government, will allow if the Supreme Court so says. But what will Mr. Kamal Haasan achieve? Tomorrow, if people reject the movie, what will you do? If people don't come to the theaters, if Kannada people don't come to the theaters, what will you do, Neha? Tell me. What will the Supreme Court do? Tomorrow, all the Kannadigas say that Mr. Kamal Haasan has belittled the language, our Kannada language. We are not going to watch this movie. What can the courts do? You tell me, Neha. Tell me. So, in the best interest, it would have been a wise decision for Mr. Kamal Haasan to apologize and bridge the gap between two languages, the Kannada and Tamil language. We should, a statesman or a big actor should try to bridge gaps between two languages.
How do you really, sir, in that case, how do you really justify Shivraj Kumar's, kind of siding with Kamal Haasan as saying that his statement was misinterpreted? That is what Shivraj Kumar, who is widely celebrated in Karnataka, said that.
Shivraj Kumar clarified that since I was in that function, I couldn't talk much. But I am for Kannada. He has made things very clear. At first he said that, but later he clarified that I am not for it. When it comes to Kannada, our language, I have to protect my language, is what Shivraj Kumar said. You please understand, Shivraj Kumar was sitting in a function called by Kamal Haasan. There he can't, he can't create a fuss. But when he came out and when the press asked him, he said, I cannot create a fuss there since it was a function called by Mr. Kamal Haasan. But when it comes to my language, when it comes to Kannada, the language which I represent, for me, Kannada is supreme, is what he has said.
Sakshi, walk us through. In fact, she joins me live from the newsroom. Sakshi, walk us through exactly what happened. How strong were the Supreme Court's observations?
Absolutely, very, very strong, Neha. We have already had the conversation about it that, the statement from the Apex Court is already out. The film has reached the Supreme Court and the next hearing is set for Thursday. The Supreme Court has asked the state government to submit their statement by tomorrow. But let me also brief our viewers about what exactly transpired, all right? So during one of the music launch events back in Chennai, before the release of the film, Kamal Haasan appeared to have shared the stage with this very celebrated, as you have correctly mentioned, actor there. And out of nowhere, the statement was made that, you also belong to us because Kannada was born out of Tamil. Ever since that statement came out from Kamal Haasan, who has such a big stature as far as the entertainment industry is concerned, this entire thing came out to the picture when the pro-Kannada outfit said that we will not let the movie release in the state of Karnataka. And Neha, let me also highlight the fact here that the box office numbers are extremely underwhelming as far as the film, the massive film of 300 crore budget is, expected to have collected over the weeks. Now the performance is extremely underwhelming at the box offices. The filmmakers, some of them who had given their money for the production of the film, are asking for their money back. Remember, the entire one South Indian state had boycotted the film. The film was not released, but the Supreme Court now is asking the Karnataka government to submit their statement by tomorrow so that the next hearing can happen on Thursday. Apart from all of that, Neha, remember, very recently, the filmmakers of Thug Life had slammed the Karnataka government of not providing them any kind of protection from the mob that has been threatening the film's release there in the state of Karnataka. Apart from all of that, we have already discussed it with, our guest that joined us, that there was no apology that came in from Kamal Haasan, but only the clarification of why he said and out of what intention he said. Remember, one thing that he has been categorically mentioning is that whatever he said was out of love. There was no underlying intention behind it, and if he was factually incorrect, then he would apologize, but no apology coming in from Kamal Haasan as of now.